Hey, what's good, Niner faithful? Hope y'all good, man. It's your boy AB, man, from the Bay to LA. I thought I'd just drop a quick little video talking about our Niners. Because I've been seeing, one of the common things I've been seeing in this free agency is offensive linemen, right? Everyone is asking, why haven't we signed an offensive lineman? That's our biggest need. Why are we signing so many defensive players? It doesn't make sense. So I start to look at things and try to understand it from a football and a rational perspective, right? So when you go look at this and you ask yourself, why haven't we signed any offensive linemen? Well, go look and see what offensive linemen are available. Who's available to trade for or to sign a free agency that is worth it, right? Who's worth it? And that's the big question. And I mean, I'm no guru, but when I look at the offensive linemen that are available, I don't see where it's like, oh, we gotta go get this guy, oh, we gotta make a play for him. Offensive linemen are like a hot commodity, right? They're just the rare, great ones are rare. You don't come across them that often. So the great ones, they're signed, they're locked up. Their team is not letting them go, right? Because they know if we let this guy go, there's no way we're replacing him. That's what it is, and that's why it's like there's not many out there. So when, as the faithful, when we get upset or bothered that the Niners aren't picking up any offensive linemen, just keep in mind there aren't really any out there to go get. And one thing that I love about this free agency is the brass, John Lynch and company, has shown they're not going to overpay for players. They're not going to pay for your name just because you're a big name. They're not going to do that. They're not trying to make headlines. They're trying to make value plays, right? They're trying to get value. They're not trying to just sign a guy because he's a big name and he's had a good history. Nah, they're signing players that are at the right market value and make sense. They're not overpaying, and that's part of the strategy. If you just look at the Niners and what we've done over the last 4 or 5 years, it's strategy. There's been plenty of big name players available. You know what I mean? But they don't get them because they don't fit the culture. So you got to understand, we're not getting any offensive linemen in free agency or trading because there's not many available and it's not feasible, right? So the next step is the NFL draft. The draft is loaded with offensive linemen. So I believe that's where they're going to attack that need. Maybe, and also cornerback. And that makes sense. Because you get a good offensive lineman, and we've had a knack for finding good players in that third, fourth, fifth round. If you find a couple good ones, they're going to be cheap, and they're going to be cheap for a few years, and that's what we need right now, right? We got Brockulus Purdy, coming up on a contract next season. He's going to be eligible for a contract extension, and when you look at what he's done in his first 2 seasons, and if he continues, they're going to have to break the bank. I don't know what he's going to ask for. I don't know how it's going to go, but he's going to have an agent, and the agent's going to want everything. So I don't know what's going to happen, but what I do know is going to happen is he's going to command a lot of money. If Kirk, no winning Cousins, can command all this money, what do you think Brock Purdy can command? A man that led his team to the NFC Championship in his rookie year, led his team to the Super Bowl in his second year, and we're going to see what year 3 has. And if he continues on this trajectory he's on, 49ers are going to have to pay up. So it's going to be critical to get an offensive lineman in the draft. Not go out and pay for one and overpay and then be like, ah, man, you know. No, find them in the draft, find them at a good price, and get them. Because that's what they're going to need to do. Everyone's upset about, oh, we're signing so many defensive players. Think about this, though. When you look at our roster and you look at the offense, what are we going to do? Go sign some offensive players? Nah, man. Our offense is stacked. They were literally the best #1 offense in the NFL last year. And they're not losing anyone. They're not losing anyone. Everyone's running it back. So everyone important at the, #1 positions, #1 and #2. They're running it back, so there's no need other than offensive linemen. So what I believe is Lynch and company have decided, okay, we're not going to go into this free agency overpaying for people. We're going to be smart about it, and we're going to draft some offensive linemen, and hopefully they pan out. And if they do, they're not going to be expensive, and we'll have them for 3 or 4 years while we have Brock on this $50 million per year contract. It's money, guys, and you got to be smart. And one thing about our Niners, they've been very smart with contracts, negotiations, and players, and all of that for the last 4, 5, 6 years. So, don't get too upset about the lack of offensive lineman signings. Just know we're gonna grab some in the draft, and I trust and believe that the brass knows what they're doing. Scouting knows what they're doing. So, we're gonna see what happens. But Brocculus Purdy has to get paid. So we gotta find value. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about our roster and you're thinking about the future. And on top of that, Brandon Aiyuk. There's a lot of fluff and a lot of noise going on with Aiyuk. Oh, he wants to get traded. Oh, he's interested in the Jaguars. Who the hell said he's interested? Like, who said that? Someone from the Jaguars? Because that's what I saw. A beat writer from the Jaguars said that. Did we hear Brandon Aiyuk? Did we hear his agent? Did we hear anything about that? No. We didn't. So I don't believe none of that stuff I hear about Brandon Aiyuk, because I truly believe he wants to be a Niner. He wants more targets. He wants more involvement, but he wants to be a Niner. Him and Purdy have they have a top tier all pro connection going. He don't want to go away from that, man. Go to Jaguars and see what happened, bruh. But I don't even want to say that, because he never said he wanted to go to Jaguars. That's just some stuff people pulled out the air, shake shit up, and get people talking. Until I hear Brandon Aiyuk's agent or him say, I don't want to be in 49ers no more, I'm not listening to the noise. Because we see this every year, not with just Niners, but just in the NFL. Like, we saw what happened with Debo and his negotiations. He wiped the Niners off of his page, and everyone started, F Debo, and if he don't want to be here, then F him, and forget him, and we can do all this and that. Nah, man, don't do that, because we need him, and we saw, once he resigned, we saw what happened. So don't fall for the okie doke again, guys. Same thing with Bosa. He didn't sign till right before the season started last year. And people were like, oh, well, Bosa, this is how he feels, and we need to let him go and trade him. Nah, man. We're fans. Understand this is a business. We're just fans. So understand that this is a business, and when it's a business, tactics are being made. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Because we saw it with Debo. We saw it with Bosa. And I wouldn't say we're seeing it with Aiyuk, but we could. But everything I've seen, I follow Aiyuk on Instagram. He's always posting stuff. He's in San Francisco. He's posting stuff. He's wearing Niners gear. Like, that's not a guy that's looking to get out. A guy that's looking to get out is not going to be posting that. He's not going to be wearing Niners gear as he's posting, So just take everything you hear with a grain of salt, man. That's all I'm trying to say. Because at the end of the day, it's a business, and we've shown over the last 4, 5, 6 years that we know how to run the business. John Lynch didn't know how to run this. So calm down, everybody. We're going to be fine. We're going to get some offensive linemen. We're going to find some in the draft. They're going to be cheap. They're going to allow us to keep Brock Purdy and some other players because Purdy's got to get paid, and that's just what it is. But yeah. Let's keep that in mind, guys. Don't get your panties too wound up. We good.